Follow-up to a video I made a long time ago called David Wilcock's Endless Endgame. And, I did get some comments over the past 8 months or so, and I just saw them today. Some people think that I'm a paid shill for God knows who. They haven't seen my bank account lately. I'm not paid and I'm not a shill. Some other people say I'm an idiot. Some other people say you should go to LA and see how much building is going on. What do I think about Corey Good and David Wilcock? Well, they're always on Jimmy Church, either on Coast to Coast Radio or Fade to Black. And I like listening to Jimmy Church. I like his voice. It's kind of deep and, you know, he's smarmy. He's a long-time radio host and he just knows how to manipulate his guests and his audience. What do they say? Well, every time I tune in and I watch a video of theirs, you'll get about 7 minutes before you have a commercial. 7 minutes in a commercial. What have I learned lately watching David Wilcock, Corey Good, and Jimmy Church? I don't listen to them anymore. They're too boring. Too many commercials, too boring. They never come up with anything new. Who's the paid shill? David Wilcock. He's a paid shill for the Illuminati. His books are all published by enormous, like Bertelsmann out of Germany. A subsidiary of Bertelsmann. In other words, David Wilcock is the shill for big capitalism and their fantasy that, you know, something is going to change on the planet. Nothing is going to change. And, you know, they were building towers in Los Angeles 35, 50, 60 years ago. So if they're still building in Los Angeles, I don't think that means David Wilcock's predictions have come true at all. But if you do, good for you. Good. Or if you're in Australia, good on you. No, we haven't had any UFOs land in anyone's front yard or city hall or police station. So we have to go back to the Red Hot Chili Peppers song about Californication and space may be the final frontier, but it's made in a Hollywood basement. And that's probably where David Wilcock works out, in a Hollywood basement. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry. But, you know, if you work for the Alliance or the Illuminati, that's what you tend to spend your money on if you're in a Hollywood basement. Everyone knows it, and that's why we don't go to Hollywood, because it's full of people who do all night. And if you didn't catch one of my earlier videos about Donald Trump, he's always going, which is the hallmark of a cocaine addict. Someone said he's on Adderall. He's doing with powdered Adderall, which is some other kind of stimulant. In the end, don't you think Donald Trump is like a toad or something? I don't know. He's really getting fat, orange. Like his face is orange, his hair is orange, and he's like a large frog. He's getting like a goiter, which is a swollen thyroid gland. So if you see him sideways, he's got an enormous, what do you call that? But, you know, bullfrogs have that. And if they're making bullfrog noises, it's small and then they put air in it and it goes big out like this. And they make bullfrog noises, it goes out like this. So if you see Donald Trump, he's looking like Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Donald, please stop doing this. And then, as far as, I don't know, I can't watch David Wilcock. Someone sent me some David Wilcock, and are you just learning about David Wilcock now? He'll talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. What does he say? I don't know. You can read his books. He says that if you add laser light to DNA, you can change a frog into a reptile. Is it true? I don't have a laser in my basement, and I don't have a frog or a reptile. But do I think it's true? No, I really don't believe that shining laser light at a frog is going to turn it into a reptile. And then all of the other things that he talks about, in outer space, it's full of bacteria. Do you know how vast outer space is? Even outer space, in our solar system, like, between the sun and the moon, do you know how vast that is? And you're telling me that it's all full of... No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. There's not that much microscopic life on planet Earth. And then you're going to tell me that vast outreaches of outer space are full of organisms. Not in spaceships, just like, microorganisms. Bacteria is just floating around in outer space. Right, David? Okay, but, if enough people sign up for Gaia TV to watch him or buy his books, he's going to have a lot of money to do. And good on you, David. Good on you. It's just that, if you look back on YouTube and look up David Wilcock, you see how many years of David Wilcock history there is. It's way too many years. It's way too many years. Way too many years of David Wilcock talking about fantasy. So, no, I don't follow David Wilcock. Once in a while, I do turn into Jimmy Church here. Jimmy Church Radio, Fade to Black. And we got Corey Good on the line. And our magic moment, we're going to talk to someone in Old Kentucky. It's Mary Had a Little Lammy from Old Kentucky talking about bourbon. Do you want to take the call, Corey? I'm terribly sorry, but Jimmy Church's voice is about as good as Governor Jesse Ventura in his short-running show Conspiracy Theory, which was very good, but they're all the same. They're all, you get your ears all perked up. In the end, what do you learn from Jesse Ventura and Corey Good and David Wilcock? Fuck all. Fuck all. This is what Dr. David R. Hawkins of Consciousness Research called the psychic circus. So, if you don't want ground level reality, if you're a bricklayer, you're into ground level reality. You're working with bricks and mortar. Everything is normal. But if you're wanting to get out on a limb, there's two ways to go. There's the psychic circus, which is David Wilcock and zillions of other psychics and tarot readers. It's entertainment. Do you get anything real? No, we don't get anything real. Nothing to do with extraterrestrials. What else do they talk about? Extraterrestrials, secret space programs, and age regression. None of that is true. It's all psychic circus, as Dr. David R. Hawkins told us many years ago. But you could go the other way, which is becoming a bona fide spiritual student. And then you can be a student of Dr. David R. Hawkins. But the thing is that Hawkins is also questionable because he relies on chiropractic, and everyone knows that chiropractors are quacks. You just talk to your local medical doctor. They always say, don't go to a chiropractor, they'll screw up your neck. What else do we know about Dr. Hawkins? He was endorsed by some strange people. His first book, Power versus Force, if you look at the back cover, Mother Teresa was either a Catholic saint or she was like one of those Irish nuns that took whips and yardsticks to young children's asses. I think she fell into that latter category. Do I think she was a saint? No, I have no clue what she was other than a Roman Catholic. And if you're Roman Catholic, you basically bought into a cult. So What else can we talk about? Who else endorsed Dr. David R. Hawkins? Dr. Hawkins, strangely enough, says he worked with Nobel Prize winning scientist Linus Pauling. The strange thing is that the Nobel Prize used to really mean something to people. But, after President Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize just when he was going into office. So it wasn't like giving him 4 or 8 years to be president and then saying, good job, buddy, here's your Nobel Peace Prize. It was basically, you're elected. Here is your Nobel Peace Prize. You haven't done anything, but Nobel is giving you a Peace Prize, and it's something phony baloney with Nobel. So if Dr. Hawkins worked with somebody, Linus Pauling, who said vitamin C cures everything, is it true? Is it true? I'll leave it with you. But Dr. Hawkins was also endorsed by Lee Iacocca, who was the CEO of Chrysler Corporation for many years, back starting in the 1980s. Is that a good person to... Not for me. Lee Iacocca was a capitalist, and he made shitty Chrysler K cars. So, no, I'm not going to say that that's a great endorsement. Who else? Sam Walton of Walmart endorsed Dr. David R. Hawkins. And, well, what did Sam Walton do to small business? He hollowed out small business. In other words, he went from quaint little American town to quaint little American town and destroyed the downtowns of quaint American towns, and on the outskirts built an enormous Walmart where everyone works for minimum wage, except if you're disabled. You used to work as a greeter for Walmart if you were disabled for minimum wage, but then somebody at Walmart in the Walmart family decided that you couldn't be only a greeter, you also had to be a store stalker, and if you were, wheelchair bound, apparently it's just too difficult to hit the top shelf. So all those, I don't know if we're allowed to say disabled anymore. They keep changing. I mean, this is 1984 Orwell. He talked about it. You have to read the book, Orwell's 1984, because it's all about how every 5 years they change the politically correct words that you're allowed to use in English. War is peace, for example, was something that Orwell talked about. But I don't know what differently abled people, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. People who, generally speaking, don't have full abilities with their physicality. And, it's bad enough that everyone gets paid minimum wage at Walmart, but, when you're someone who can't do this store stocking, but you can do this, I'm going to give up. Anyway, those people all lost their jobs because of Walmart. So what do I think about being endorsed by Sam Walton of Walmart? I would lock you up if you were endorsed by Sam Walton of Walmart. I would lock you up for 25 years to life, because that's what should have happened to Sam Walton. But he's dead now, and his remaining family are billionaires. And what did they do for America? Well, all those things that used to be manufactured in the northern parts of the United States are now manufactured mostly in China. So not only did he ruin all the downtowns of American towns, but he also ruined all of the manufacturing jobs in America. So being endorsed by Sam Walton, not a good idea. So in essence, what am I left with? Well, Dr. Hawkins apparently was a psychiatrist. He said he got a PhD, but then someone looked it up and said, well, it was a diploma mill that Dr. Hawkins got his information from. What's a diploma mill? Well, it's a phony university. So Dr. Hawkins, who got apparently a real MD and a psychiatric badge, got a PhD from a diploma mill. So what do I really think of Dr. David R. Hawkins? He's written up in a website called Quack Watch. So he's dead, and I do talk about him a great deal. Why is this? Because if you haven't noticed it before, this is a comedy channel, and I'm a comic. And I'm very well aware of so many people who are straight people. What do I mean by straight? Well, in the olden days of vaudeville, you know, before they had comedy movies, you could go to a theater and someone would be comedically doing things on stage, and they had to have material. So being a comic, I need material, and I've just got a vast reservoir of books. This is just a small sample of the books that I have, you know, a very small sample. But you know, I do read, and I love to read these metaphysical things because they're just, you know, kooky. And anyway, Dr. Hawkins I started reading many years ago. A friend of mine said he was the hot shit, and so I read it, and I'm very well versed in his spirituality. But do I think he's a quack? Yes and no. Now, I just made another video today about Jason Louv of Magic Me. And is anything that Dr. Hawkins say create strange things to happen with you? Yes. If you read Dr. Hawkins, most people will look at you really funny when you are constantly muscle testing. They'll look at you and they'll say, if you keep muscle testing, I'm going to put you in the car and we're going down to the psych ward and I'm going to check you in. Now, if you're a comic going to a psych ward, sure, let's go. I mean, I always need more material. So at a psych ward, let's go. I mean, I need new material, and God knows where I'm going to find it. But if you know we're going there, then I'll just have my ears open and my eyes open, and we'll go with that. Is there anything of truth to the psychic circus or to spirituality? Life is what you make of it. But the one thing I will tell you that Dr. Hawkins said about spirituality is the highest form of intelligence on the planet is humor. So that's why I do comedy, because I'm highly intelligent, or I pretend to be. And is Dr. Hawkins funny? Actually, he is. If you watch his videos, he's a comical little man. He's very little. He's about 5'2", and about 8,500 years old. He's like Yoda in a human body, and he does make you laugh. So he's successful, maybe not as a psychiatrist or a spiritual teacher, but as a comic, he is excellent.